All right. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be at. So, I think we are going to start this session from the TBTY dashboard. Um, you know, this is the first prep stream that we're doing. I'm planning to do this as often as I can to share some of the process that I go through when I do my trade preparations and so on, right? So this is using a platform that I built for myself, right? Mostly to help me with my own trading, and it has been really helpful so far. Of course, you are free to try out as well, and let me know your feedback. Uh, if you like it or you don't like it, and what kind of features you want, and then we can help to build around those things as well. Yeah. So the first thing I like to do is to go to the prep page, and over here it has just a very quick gate for me to kind of make sure that I am ready to trade for the day. So this is very important for me. So if let's say I have like less than 7 hours of sleep, I'm just not going to trade for the day. Yeah. All right. So okay. So as you can see, once I go in, it shows me like the review, some of the rules that I have from the previous session that I traded, right? So things like so some reminders I have from the last session, right? Not forcing trades over the weekend, not moving stocks beyond planned risk levels, stick to the original plan or exit at planned lost. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and start my prep. So I used a kind of talk through my prep kind of method here, right? And the way I do it is there is a little bit of like AI assistance in this thing, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and just talk through the preparation. So what are we looking at here? Okay, so I think I like to start with Bitcoin. I like to start with Bitcoin, and my sense of the so I think Bitcoin has been interesting. I mean, it has had a somewhat of a stronger bounce during this this Iran crisis kind of situation. It kind of has found some strength. Some levels I'm closely watching is like the previous key yearly high, right? So it's the fact that it's staying above it is definitely like a bullish sign. Um, so let's see, right? I think on the daily it is a little bit neutral right now in the sense that it didn't stay above the key candle high here, but it is still kind of like surviving the above the previous key yearly high. So I would say that it's somewhat of a bit neutral for the daily. 4 hour, I'm thinking it's starting to show a little bit of like bullish patterns here, a little bit of like trying to poke out above this level. So I am leaning towards like there's some kind of bullish momentum building here on the 4 hour, and pretty clearly as well. I think on the 1 hour there's a little bit of rally going on here, and I would say that the invalidation for this whole thing will be like this level here, 1 hour invalidation, right? But yeah, I think going into this whole thing, I am not really keen. So it's a bit of Bitcoin is a bit mixed, right? I feel like I'm not really keen to like take any setups on Bitcoin today for sure. Yeah, I just don't think that it's very clear which direction it might go into. Similarly for Solana, I think it's in the same predicament. I'm a little bit more interested in Ethereum actually because there's a little bit of a recent news where I think, if I'm not wrong, Circle actually there's some news about the Congress. I mean, if you look at like Circle's stock, right, it dropped like I think like 20% yesterday. on like some very bad news about like stablecoin yields not coming into fruition because of like Congress or something like that. So with that backdrop in mind, right, I'm actually thinking like the one that get hurt by this the most is probably Ethereum. And if I look at Ethereum here, I would say that the daily is same as Bitcoin, a bit mixed. The 4 hour is struggling to kind of make a new higher high, so it's like stuck at this level here. So I would say that the 4 hour is mixed as well. The 1 hour is maintaining some kind of like momentum, but I think this is kind of like the key level, right? This key level here at 2158 will be the level that I'm watching. So I guess like what I'm thinking here is like so during the session, if it starts trading below this key level, like if it starts trading below here and consolidating, and you see that the volume starts to come in here, in this region, I will be keen to take a trade here. And I think that will be, given the news catalyst and all, I think that will be like at least a tier 2, maybe even a tier 1 setup for me, because I don't think the market is pricing the fact that like because there's not buying from BitMine, right? So I think that's kind of like buffering some of the negative news, right? So I don't think it has kind of fully priced in that whole stablecoin thing, right? I think there's gonna be some volatility coming in, so I'm looking for a setup potentially at this region. So I'm gonna add alert here, and then the other stuff on my list, I'm not really looking at them. Zcash, Jupe. Given the fact that I'm not like very bullish on Bitcoin, and neither am I bearish on it, and given that I'm bearish on Ethereum right now in terms of buyers, I think I am not going to be looking for longs just yet on those. Gold is surprisingly, gold reached like the 200 EMA like much faster than I thought it would. So that's interesting because I was seeing as a target, right, for like this move down, and I didn't really have a chance to short it yet. But yeah, I mean, it has really reached it. So as of now, I don't really have a strong bias in terms of where I think it will go. I feel like it will just consolidate in this region, and I don't really want to get involved with that at the moment. In terms of like US 500, I think one thing that I'm really looking at here is really honestly, I think this is the level that you will start to trigger some panic. So, and I have a whole thesis about why I think the overall kind of like US the S&P is like in a multi-year kind of generational top kind of thing. I have like a whole thesis around it, which I'm not going to get into at the moment. But basically, I think the idea here is that the daily, the weekly, and everything is pretty bearish here, right? 4 hour, I say that it's still trapped in a downtrend here. Like this whole candle here doesn't really negate anything. There's a little bit of like, okay, there's a chance that it might start making a higher high here, but it hasn't happened, right? So as of now, it's like still trapped in a bearish kind of zone. Similarly, for the 1 hour, it's still, I would say, neutral to bearish, right? And therefore, everything considered, I am still like looking for downside setups on US 500. In particular, I am pretty keen to see like I want to see price kind of like retest this trend line here, ideally, right? So the setups might not come today. It might be like, for example, like Thursday or Friday, that we get like a short setup, very nice into this trend line, and then it fails from there, right? So I think that's something that might happen. I'm definitely watching that pretty closely. I think today my conviction for a short is probably around like tier 2, tier 3 level. When I say tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 1 is like the highest tier that can use the most size in, and then tier 3 is like the lowest, right? So I feel like it's between tier 2 and tier 3. I would say, because I'm still waiting for like this move towards the trend line, right? So I think if I see any short opportunities, the size wise has to be really controlled. right? But that said, I'll be willingly taking scalps to the downside if I see any kind of like scalp setup appear. And in terms of scalp setup, I usually look for like a 1:2 risk reward ratio. Yeah, meaning I risk like 1 unit of risk to get 2 units of reward. Yeah. So I'll be looking for scalps to the downside throughout the session, throughout the whole US session. And then let's see how that goes, right? Let's see how that goes. Typically for this kind of scalps, I'm using like a 0.3R, so like really tiny risk compared to my compared to a full sized, which is 1R. Right, 1R I'm typically using it for like at least tier 2 trades and above. Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty much it. I think the market here is pretty like I'm not expecting anything crazy to happen today. Maybe except for Ethereum, right? I'm really interested to see like if there could be like a major downside setup here, right? Because potentially we are looking at like a trend move down, back to below 2000. Yeah. So let's see whether that materializes. All right. Okay. So that's it for the chart kind of sharing, chart work, chart preparations, and let's now go back to the Chrome. And let's bring back the recorder. So you can see we recorded about 9 minutes of prep. Let's stop it. Yeah. So the system is now passing whatever that we talked about and bringing that into the preparation, right, that I'm doing. Okay, let's yeah, so while we're waiting for that, which should be anytime soon, anytime now. Right, yeah. So yeah, so you can see that there is a kind of bias expected scenarios and initial thoughts here, right? Some invalidations, right, that you manage to extract, right? So pretty accurate overall. I would say, I mean, I like it, right? And then there's some terms that I can add to my own glossary. Yeah. And then there are some trade ideas here that has been generated for me based on what I talked about, right? So it has this trade idea here. So usually after my review here, my next step is to bring this trade idea into my other kind of like platform that I have that will give me like more concrete sizing rules and everything based on like my current drawdown and all that, my current equity curve and all that, and give me like more obvious kind of like sizing guides, right? So that's something that I do in my own private kind of preparation. So yeah, the invalidation here that I'm looking at probably, for Ethereum, what will be the invalidation for the short? For the short thesis will be that it just stays above, right? If it stays above the 1 hour key level at 2158, not really interested to short. Okay, then for US 500, the invalidation is that if it so US 500 is above the anchored or session VWAP, not interested to short. Right, unless sharp move up plus consolidation plus break to downside. Okay, and then let's check out some of the rules that I have. Let's see. Okay, I think I like yep. Yep, okay, let's use all that. Okay. So these are some of the rules that I'm going to watch today, and then mental rehearsals. I think these two are fine. I have this like gambling circuit firing thing as well, which is something that I used to bring myself into a to kind of catch myself if I have some urges in terms of like wanting to size up or wanting to so basically some of these things that I wrote here, right, in terms of like red flags, right. If I recognize some of this thinking thought process in my head, I will and then I feel like something's happening, I will trigger this. Yeah. Okay, so let's begin today's centering. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Okay. That's great. And then now I think let me check back if there is any questions on the stream. All right. Nope. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's all for the preparation. For today's session. Oh yeah. One last thing. I like to run this. I like to run the preparation through cloud, right? So pre-market trading prep for today. Yeah, so I like to use the Opus 4.6 to run like a pre-market prep to see what some of the ideas that they may create for me, and then from there it will give me like a better sense of like how I want to go about the how I want to go about the day, right? Yeah. So obviously I'm not gonna use it as like gospel, but it's just it'll be useful, yeah. So while we're waiting for that, I'm just gonna chill a little bit. All right, so the pre-market prep is back. Um, so I'm just gonna read it out, right? Basically, it says something around the dominant driver of the narrative and the market remains the Iran Hormuz geopolitics, right? But the regime is shifting. The narrative today is around de-escalation hope, right? Trump claims productive talks, but says he put back strike threats because we are negotiating. Iran denies the talks, so it's producing violent two-way price action in oil, and it's
9 o'clock.
which is the transmission mechanism into everything else. All right, so the model for regime interpretation, the oil is trading on a geopolitical risk premium, not fundamentals. The Goldman space case assumes that Hormuz flows will normalize in April over a 4-week period. If that's right, we are in a compression phase. Where the premium bleeds out. If it's wrong and talks collapse, premium expands violently. Okay. So let's see. Today's catalyst: February import and export price indexes, House Financial Service Committee tokenization hearing about crypto, SEC crypto ETF deadline. Okay. Earnings, not market movers. Yeah. So it's saying that a meaningful reclaim above ES above 6620 will shift from bounce to sell to potential base. Until then, rallies are sells. Yep. So I also same as kind of what I interpreted in terms of like selling, right? Let me ask about Ethereum. What do you think about Ethereum? Excuse me. Yeah, so on a stake, ETH looks structurally weak. I'll be cautious about it as a trading instrument right now. Okay. Interesting. Right. So it seems to think that Ethereum is structurally weak. I don't necessarily agree with that. Except for the fact that the stablecoin narrative definitely hurts Ethereum because it was the thing that drove Ethereum's some advantage towards Ethereum, right, for some time. So I think there's a little bit of a kind of situation there. So definitely, I think, yeah. So let's see what happens, right? So again, it has to go below the 1 hour key level here for me to be really interested in shorting it. Otherwise, I'll be just staying out from the market until that happens. All right, so that's the I would say that's the pre-market prep for today. Again, thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, do like or subscribe to the channel. I'll try to do this as much daily if possible, or whenever I trade. And then if you guys like it, maybe at some point in the future, I will do some live trading as well. Other than that, do check out TBTY.com, trade better than yesterday, and let me know what you think. Try out the platform. There's you can sign up for free. You can look at the ebook or the starter guide, right, to learn a bit more about the framework. And I think it's something that it's useful for me. Right, so I've been trading for like 17 years now, and it's been really used. I mean, this is something that helps me now in my daily process, right? And I do encourage traders to give it a try, right? Obviously, it's not financial advice, and it's just an educational kind of framework and tool that can help you to kind of improve in your process and trading. Yeah. All right. With that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Trade better than yesterday.